What's the inspiration for the Holy Knights? Let's dive into this theory about what it means to be a Holy Knight and how Shamrock and Gunko might fit into it, right after the intro. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. Before we get into today's video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything. Now, let's get started. The Elbaf arc began introducing us to the God Knights, or Holy Knights, a completely secretive order among the Tenryubito. But what inspired Oda to create this order? We can theorize about his inspiration based on the two Holy Knights introduced in the latest chapters, Gunko and Figureland Shamrock, especially by analyzing their attire. Of course, we'll also speculate on how their former leader, Garling, might have influenced their current mission. So, let's dive in. Gunko was officially introduced 2 chapters ago, and her clothing is quite specific. She wears a gakuran uniform. Gakuran are traditional school uniforms worn by Japanese middle and high school students, primarily boys. Inspired by Western military attire, gakuran have a simple, formal design reminiscent of Japan's modernization during the Meiji era, 1868-1912. During this period, Japan adopted many Western influences, including fashion and uniforms. The gakuran is a legacy of that era. Just a quick note about Gunko. She doesn't speak politely to Shamrock, and there doesn't seem to be a hierarchical relationship between them, which could suggest she's a rebellious character. The name Gunko means pants from the uniform of the former Japanese army, but in One Piece, Gunko doesn't wear any pants, which seems to be Oda's way of making a joke. Now let's talk about Shamrock's attire and its inspiration. Shamrock's clothing is directly inspired by aristocratic European military uniforms from the 15th to 19th centuries, especially from the Napoleonic Wars to the early days of World War I. These elaborate uniforms were common among high-ranking officers and the nobility, symbolizing power and status. During this time, European armies not only fought each other, but also expanded their influence through colonial expeditions, dominating continents like North and South America, Africa, the Middle East, and parts of Asia. The British Empire, for example, became the largest maritime empire in history, which connects directly to the world of One Piece. The mythology of pirates, sailors, and buccaneers in Eiichiro Oda's work reflects this era of maritime exploration and domination. Shamrock's connection to Garling and colonialism. Shamrock is not an isolated character. He is the son of Garling Figureland. This relationship directly reflects the historical context of colonialism, as evidenced in the flashback to God Valley 38 years ago. There, Garling treated the native inhabitants as savages and led extermination games, while the Tenryubito used the island not only for entertainment, but also to extract natural resources. This mirrors real historical events from the colonial era when European powers exploited territories worldwide. Shamrock's mission, to bring Elbaf under the world government's control, echoes his father's colonial practices in God Valley. Garling was portrayed as a cold and cruel aristocrat, willing to subjugate entire populations to achieve his goals. Shamrock follows the same path, showing that the Holy Knights may symbolize the brutality and greed that marked human history during the colonial period. Another important point is the connection between Japan's history and the events in One Piece, such as Wano's theme of opening the borders. In real-world Japan, this occurred in 1854, when the country was forced to end its isolationist policy by an American expedition that threatened Tokyo with cannons. Under pressure, Japan signed a bilateral treaty with the US and began opening up to the world. This opening brought significant influences, like the inspiration for Japanese military and school uniforms drawn from the British Royal Navy during the Meiji period. These uniforms symbolize the assimilation of Western ideas as Japan militarized and became a colonial power, dominating parts of Asia in the early 20th century. Oda seems to use the Holy Knights as an allegory for the history of colonialism. Just as European powers and Imperial Japan expanded their territories, subjugating native populations and exploiting resources, the Holy Knights in One Piece invade lands and enslave peoples to strengthen the world government. Shamrock, for instance, acts under direct orders from his father, Garling, I believe Garling's ambition is to dominate Elbaf and exploit its resources. This is reinforced by the world government's history of weakening Elbaf, from Caesar's experiments to Mother Carmel's actions. And this is why only Shamrock went to Elbaf. It's because Garling has only now taken up a command post as a Gorosei. With this new position, he can finally act on his ambitions. I believe that during his time as a Holy Knight, even though he harbored these desires, Garling couldn't take action. Now he can. In chapter 1125, we see clear tensions between Garling and the other Gorosei members. He is promoted directly by Imusama, gaining the authority to pursue his goal of dominating Elbaf. This shift in power shows that with Imu's support, Garling's plans can now be carried out, and Shamrock is leading this mission. In summary, they may have been inspired by colonizers from past centuries. What do you think? Does it make sense? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. See you next time, and thanks for watching.